If you haven't figured it out by now, let me just spoil the surprise for you. In all of your relationships, you're going to face problems. When it comes to your relationship with your parents, with friends, with teachers, there are going to be moments where you get into arguments, where you have disagreements, where somebody gets offended. That is very normal, but do not make the mistake of believing that a difficulty in a relationship has to be a dead end. A lot of times people make the mistake of they face a problem, they face a challenge, they have a friendship that's going great, they love that person, they hang out all the time, and then they get in a fight. And because they don't know how to handle conflict, they end up just giving up on a relationship that they really did care about. Or people do this with their parents, where if a young person feels like, oh, my parent doesn't really accept me or they don't understand me right now, they make the decision, I'm just going to close myself off. I'm not going to trust them. I'm not going to talk to them. I'm not going to be honest with them, when really there is a better way. For those of us who are Jesus followers, there's a passage in the New Testament, Romans chapter 12, verse 18, where the Apostle Paul writes, if it's possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. The writer of Hebrews says something similar. Jesus himself in Matthew chapter 18 gives several teachings on the subject of relationships and how we're supposed to relate to each other. And my cumulative takeaway of those passages is that my relationships are my responsibility. Your relationships are your responsibility. Paul says, as far as it depends on you. When it comes to relationships and the problems that you might have, the challenges that you might have, the arguments that you might get into, as far as it depends on you, it is your job to live at peace with everyone. And it's kind of like the difference between looking through a window and looking into a mirror. When you look through a window, you look through a window to see something beyond yourself, to see out there. When you look into a mirror, you look into a mirror to see yourself. And a lot of times in our relationships, we look through windows and we forget to look into the mirror. A lot of times in our relationships, we look beyond ourselves and we just look at all the other things that they said. We look at all the things that they did. We look at all the problems that they've caused us. We look at how they responded to the situation. We look at how they started it, and we forget to look into the mirror. We forget to consider what Paul said and go, as far as it depends on us. Here is what it looks like to look through the mirror, is to ask yourself the question, have I done everything that I can do for peace? Because if we're Jesus followers, we believe that we've been forgiven by God of so much, our logical response should be to forgive others as well, as far as it depends on you. In all your relationships, when you face problems, when you face challenges, start by taking responsibility. Start by not just looking through the window and blaming everyone else, but by looking into the mirror and asking yourself the question, have I done everything that I can do? And from that place, Jesus actually lays out some steps that we can take to fix relationships. In Matthew chapter 18, we're actually in a series here at Youth on the subject of relationships, and we just shared a message this past Sunday on the 3 steps that we can take to fix a broken relationship and to solve a problem. So if you're interested in that, we'll link that video. You can click the video. The beginning of it is this idea that relationships are our responsibility. And then we get into the steps that you can take to actually fix your broken relationships. And if you have any questions, you can always comment on this video or on the other one. We love you. We're praying for you. Until next time.